That's why I like this stuff. Look, indispensable to woodworkers, electricians, carpenters, repairmen, housewives, pattern makers, decorators, floor finishers, cabinet makers, painters, manual training schools, manufacturers, and plumbers. Rocky says, the repair material in powder form. Just add water, mix, and use. Fill cracks, knot, nail, and screw holes. Sticks and stays put. Will not shrink. You can saw, sand, polish, color, mold, or paint it. Great for art and craft projects. Here they're making a mold out of it. Molds strong figurines. They're putting it right into a mold. I guess you can do that too. And here it even says it patches plaster. Never used it for that. But there it is. Durham's Rock Hard Water Putty. Pretty cheap too. You gotta get some. Now see, I guess I'm glad I did this small little patch first. I'm letting this dry. I still have to put a thin layer on again, but now I can start filling up that those gouges at the bottom of the door, because on that I've got to take the door down and fill up the bottom. That's my next little project. Let's see how dark it is. It's still dry though. But see on the outside how much lighter it is right here? That's because this was so deep. I just felt on there and it feels pretty hard. So let's take my 3-inch wow. I got it about the right height, it looks like. Right in there. I didn't have to take very much off. It looks like I'm going to have to put more on, of course. I don't mind doing that. I'm going to go over this a couple times. See, once it got really hard, you wouldn't be able to do this with a putty knife, sheetrock blade, or a putty knife. You'd have to use a chisel. And you could do that too. You've got a 1-inch chisel or something like that. That would do it too. You know, you don't want to get this so high that you think, oh, I'll sand it down. It takes forever to sand this stuff. If you're just lightly sanding it, fine. But if you're trying to sand it down, it takes a while. Okay. Okay, so now I can check this edge. I'll kind of look at that a little bit closer to get the light over here, I think, and just check that a little bit more before I mix up some more. And I'm going to let this dry a little bit longer so I can get on the front door. I'm running back over here to do this, and I think I have enough here that I didn't need for the door. Once you put the second coat on, it'll get a lot smoother for you. Probably gonna have to mix up some more. See, this is already hardening, I can tell. I don't think I'm going to be able to have enough for this. I'll have to mix up a little bit more. Okay, yeah. See, the stuff I had left in my pan is drying out too much, so I can't really use that. I have to mix up another batch. If you're going to use a pan like this, or anything for that matter, you've got to scrape this out before you mix up your next go round. Don't forget. Now, this is getting pretty hard. And believe it or not, before I put another finished top coat on there, I take my putty knife, and I got a fairly sharp knife. I'm just going to kind of look here. Anything that I think is high, I can gently scrape off. And I want to do that before I put my finish coat on there, so I can get it as close to flat as I can, you know. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Feels a little bit high right there, and I'm not sure if it's what I put on there or not, but I'm going to try to take just a hair off. Just a little bit as you go with the tip. And I'm just using that as a guide. Okay. And like I said, if you have a sharp chisel, you could let this dry just a hair more, and then before you put your top coat on, you could take your chisel and slightly scrape it a little bit, you know. Okay, so once you get it to where you think you need it, then you can mix up a little bit more and put one top coat on there. Then once that dries, you can sand it, and then you're ready to paint it. I think that's coming out really good. I'll have to work on this edge a little bit more as I do that, and then I'll blend in this edge. See, now I got a nice straight edge right there, whereas before I didn't have much there, and this is gonna dry. How hard? Hard as a rock. Now once you have everything done and you sand it and everything and you're ready to paint it, make sure you put a prime coat on there first, because you don't want this showing up. Okay? Remember that. Okay, mix just a little bit more up. I'm going to put a little skin on there now. I'm going to take most of this off. Okay, get my light resituated. I can. So I'm just skinning over it, and let's see here. I got the wider knife, and this rock hard putty is already getting hard in the pan. I just want to concentrate on getting it smooth, you know, because once it dries, then I can sand it, lightly sand it and everything. There. Okay. Once I sand that, it's going to be ready to be painted. I also already went over that, and I'm not going to touch this edge. I'm just going to let this edge dry like that, and then I can lightly scrape it. I can sand it. I can take a little wood rasp with very fine edge, and I can go down it very gently, you know, down that. Just don't mess with that right now. that's fine that it's out just a hair too far, and we'll finish that when it dries. Okay? Hey, hope you learned something. Man, I'm sure glad I had this craft paper again. Good old craft paper came through for me again. That patch is turning out good. Well, that's all I got for this time. But I'll be back with more videos.